Before we get into this story, do me a favor. If you like music stories that go beyond charts and hits, stories about power, contracts, and artists taking control, hit the like button. It helps the video, it helps the channel. And honestly, this story deserves it. Because what Frank Ocean did in 2016 wasn't just clever. It was strategic. The kind of move that people in the music industry still talk about today, partly because it worked, and partly because almost nobody saw it coming. And the craziest part? By the time his record label realized what had happened, the whole plan had already played out. To understand why, we need to go back a few years to the moment when Frank Ocean became one of the most important artists in music. The Contract. In 2012, Frank Ocean released Channel Orange. The album was a huge moment in modern R&B. Critics loved it. Fans loved it. It won a Grammy. And suddenly Frank Ocean wasn't just another talented singer. He was one of the most respected artists of his generation. At the time, he was signed to Def Jam Recordings, which is part of Universal Music Group, one of the biggest music companies in the world. Like most major label deals, his contract required him to deliver multiple albums. By the time Channel Orange came out, there was still one problem. Frank Ocean owed the label one more album. On the surface, that sounds normal, but contracts like this come with an important detail. The label usually owns the master recordings. That means they control the music and the long-term money it generates. Artists receive advances, but those advances are basically loans that must be paid back through album sales and streams. And once Frank Ocean started thinking about that, ownership became a very big deal. The disappearance. After Channel Orange, fans expected another album soon, but it never came. Months passed, then years. The internet started speculating constantly. Rumors about new music appeared every few months. People guessed release dates. Memes were made. Some fans even joked that the next Frank Ocean album would never exist. But behind the scenes, something much more calculated was happening. According to reports, Frank Ocean made a bold financial move. He paid back a large advance to his label, reportedly around $2 million, out of his own pocket. Why would an artist do that? Because removing that financial obligation gave him more freedom. But he still had to deliver one final album to finish his contract. So he prepared something that technically fulfilled the agreement, but also set up the real move that was coming next. The double release. In August 2016, after 4 years of silence, Frank Ocean finally released new music. A mysterious live stream appeared online. In it, Frank slowly built a wooden staircase inside a large warehouse. For hours. Eventually, the stream turned into a 45-minute visual album called Endless. The music was experimental and atmospheric. Fans were confused. Was this the long-awaited album? A side project? Nobody was completely sure. But for Def Jam, one thing mattered. The contract requirement had been fulfilled. Frank Ocean had delivered the album he owed them. The deal was complete. Everything seemed settled. Until the next day, less than 24 hours later, Frank Ocean released another album, Blonde. But this time, it didn't come through Def Jam. It was released independently through his own label, which meant something very important. Frank Ocean owned the masters. The aftermath. Blonde debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. It sold more than 270,000 units in its first week and quickly became one of the most celebrated albums of the decade. But the real impact wasn't just musical. It was structural. Because releasing the album independently meant a much larger share of the revenue went directly to Frank Ocean. Instead of earning a small royalty through a label deal, he controlled the recordings himself. That difference can mean millions of dollars over time. The move reportedly frustrated executives at Universal Music Group, and soon after, the company changed some of its streaming exclusivity policies. Because the last thing the industry wanted was another artist pulling off the same strategy. Today, the story of Endless and Blonde is often described as one of the smartest contract moves in modern music history. Not loud, not dramatic, just patient. Frank Ocean didn't fight the system in public. He studied it, and when the moment arrived, he stepped outside it. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. Frank Ocean didn't win by being louder than the system. He won by understanding it better. He waited. He fulfilled the contract exactly as written. And then, at the perfect moment, he released the album that actually mattered, on his own terms. Today, Blonde isn't just remembered as a great album. It's remembered as a turning point. A moment when artists started thinking more seriously about ownership, leverage, and independence. Because sometimes the smartest move in the music industry isn't fighting the rules. It's reading them carefully, and then finding the one line nobody else noticed. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There are a lot more music deep dives coming. Stories where music, business, and culture collide. And if you want another wild story from the music world, check out the next video on the channel. I'll see you there.